Hello and welcome to Brodual. Today we've got a brand new mod by the name of Wildcat. This is the latest combat overhaul for Skyrim, and it comes from the same author that made Ordinator, the Apocalypse Spell Package and several other extremely popular mods. As its name suggests, Wildcat aims to make combat more ferocious and spontaneous, introducing combat injuries and increasing lethality. It also aims to accomplish this with minimal scripting and no save bloat, which is a common issue that affects nearly all other combat overhauls out there. At its core, Wildcat wants to make it feel like you're really fighting for your life, and the NPCs are truly fighting for theirs. It does this by putting you and your enemies on a more even playing field. First, it significantly increases damage both dealt and received in the difficulty settings. Every setting is tweaked, but Legendary in particular saw drastic changes. It went from 0.25 damage dealt, 3 times damage received, to a whopping 4 times damage for both of them, offering a more realistic and deadly experience. This also speeds up combat and puts more emphasis on time blocking and decision making. Alternatively, the mod menu features a choose your own difficulty setting, which lets you choose exactly how much damage you want. After that, it modifies other areas of combat to make it even more deadly. Melee attacks are 25% more powerful for both the player and NPCs. Power attacks and bashes that stun the enemy will now also stun the player, cancelling your actions and leaving you vulnerable for a short time. Bows and crossbows also deal 30% more damage, but they take 30% longer to draw, and the player no longer has any auto-aim assist. And finally, even spells deal more damage, but they cost more and holding down a spell slows you down in combat. However, these direct buffs aren't as straightforward as they seem. This is because damage dealt is now tied to health and stamina. Both the player and NPCs take reduced damage at high health, but increased damage at low health. Attacks now also cost 6 points of stamina, but when you hit 0, you can still attack with a 35% cut to damage. The idea behind this change is very simple. Your health becomes your direct life energy, and as it lowers you become weaker and every hit starts to hurt more and more, until eventually you're on your last leg and all it takes is a swift blow to end you. Health management becomes vital, especially with the introduction of injuries. Whenever the player or NPCs fall below 50, 35 or 20% health, they're briefly staggered and they may receive a random injury. The type of injury will depend on the victim's race and body. For example, flying creatures can injure their wings. Humanoid creatures have the most types of injuries, allowing you to injure everything from your head to your feet. Each injury applies one debuff that lasts until the victim is healed to full HP. The debuffs also make sense for the injury, so if you were to injure your foot then you might stagger when running, or trip when sprinting. If you injure your cranium you'll lose 10 magicka per second, or injure your shoulder and attack 30% slower. Some injuries can have devastating results, especially in your vital areas. A heart, brain, gut or spinal injury might even mean the end of your life if you aren't carrying potions or can't end the battle quickly. But the most traumatic of all, a knee injury might mean spending the rest of your life as a city guard. You can find a full list of the effects on the mod page, or you can go in mostly blind for a more exciting experience. You can also head into the mod menu at any time to tweak the health thresholds and the chance of injury, or you can just disable injuries entirely. As I said earlier, the mod evens the battlefield, and as you've seen, all of these new changes, including injuries, affect both the player and NPCs. Another step in that direction is improved combat AI. We hear this a lot in combat mods, and it's quite a vague statement to make. From our testing, we found Wildcat offers a lot of similar improvements found in other combat mods. Things like enemies being more aggressive, blocking more, and taking advantage of the situation. However, the new AI also takes the new Wildcat features into account. So NPCs will become less aggressive when at low health, but more aggressive to finish you off when you're low. They also know you get stunned now when staggered, so they'll aim to keep you stunned and finish you off with a combo of attacks. The most important thing to keep in mind though is that it achieves this using some of the most efficient scripting seen to date, and it avoids the save bloat caused by other combat mods. All in all, Wildcat in its current state offers an effective, albeit relatively simple combat overhaul for Skyrim. It lacks the more complex combat features for the sake of stability, performance and compatibility. If you like what the mod offers in terms of lethality and injuries, you can get even more out of Skyrim's combat by adding another overhaul like Revenge of the Enemies or Combat Evolved. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, you can find everything you need down below. We know some of you have been interested in a spotlight on the Vigor, Combat and Injuries mod, which is similar to Wildcat but also different in key areas. We were actually working on one before this video, but Vigor just received its 5.0 update, so we're working on a new video soon. And we'll also cover the differences between Vigor and Wildcat in that one too. And that's it for today's Spotlight. As always, be sure to leave indulgence and mod you enjoy, be sure to check out g2a.com for some cheap games, and thanks for watching.